Yeah, it's my thing. Not
You
really.
probably thought this was a philosophy podcast, right? Nope.
Oh.
Chuck Testa.
Get at it.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to...
Sorry about that.
To... What is it, 4?
Yes.
This is not a math podcast. This is...
Yep.
The 4th one.
Season 1, episode 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to realize something. Since we're calling this season 1, like...
Fall.
I hope we keep going next year. But Mr. Page, you won't be here.
Yeah.
I will not.
So that means we're going to have to
Just
get
Skype call.
another theology teacher on here. And then we're going to show up on one of those Watch Mojo lists of like 10 shows where the recasting ruined it. And he's not as good as the original Mr. Page.
Yeah, who's this fraud?
Yeah, we're going to get someone new
Only
and
real
we're going
fans
to make
remember.
them go as Mr. Page.
Okay.
As if you never left.
Sounds good. That
Exactly.
sounds like a plan.
It'll be like the Mr. Page will be a title, rather than just a person.
It is
That
Philosophy
gets
Hour with
passed
Mr.
down.
Page.
I like that.
That is... Actually, no, it's just Philosophy Hour on YouTube.
Yeah.
We like to call it Philosophy Hour with Mr. Page.
Yeah,
but,
that's the official title. That's like the... you know,
Adam, the guy who uploads these to YouTube.
Adam, the guy who... that's a nice last name.
Adam... It starts with an H. Did I miss my... Did I?
Are you not recording?
No, I am.
Oh.
It's just I'm looking at my Yahoo tabs, and some of them seem to be missing.
Oh, jeez.
So- One of them is still here. Hold on a second. I think Google Chrome might... No, they're still here. Oh, I see.
You just had too many tabs open and it like...
It's
scrolled
just
through.
like... I gotta scroll up on the
Okay.
on the tab menu. Okay, so we're...
How many do you...
I have a lot open.
Jeez.
So,
It's like
first question.
4x4.
I think this is very fitting to us. Someone asks, how can I promote my podcast audio?
I don't understand.
I think we need to promote our podcast audio better, so I'm asking us.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it's not in reference to us. We're trying to help this person.
No, we're trying to help us. I'm desperate.
Okay.
My mom isn't listening to these anymore. This is where it's gotten. It's just Stephen
That
Foliconis.
is rock bottom. Shout out to the number one.
Yeah, number one
Stephen-
fan, Stephen Foliconis.
Steve
Did you know that?
I did not know this.
Do you know who Stephen?
Of course.
Yeah, he had him
He's a
last
student
year.
of mine.
Yeah.
Or was a student
Yeah.
of mine, yeah.
Yeah. Steven loves our podcast.
Yeah, he's like,
Because he's cool.
he's
Well,
into it.
the last podcast was relentless nonsense. So I'll casually suggest that
What
we
podcast?
aim towards substance rather than insanity.
I don't know if that'll appease our fan base. Our
Yeah.
fan,
So,
The
And-
base of the fan.
our one
Just-
fan.
Yeah.
okay, so you're advocating more chaotic.
I think we're
senseless
building a
banter.
backstory as to why we had to recast Mr. Page in the second season.
Exactly.
There we go.
There
Yeah,
were
right.
artistic differences.
Okay.
We had to split ways.
Oh yeah, that was just a joke. But
It's a bit.
this is actually something someone proposed, and I think it's kind of interesting, if a bit ridiculous.
Mm.
It's not as ridiculous as last week was, or 2 weeks ago, because Mr. Page had to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Question: could we end child abuse once and for all by incorporating martial arts training in K through 12 physical education?
Ooh.
Now I know this sounds heavy at first because
Hmm.
like child abuse, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
shy away from that part.
Yeah.
I want to focus more on the idea of a bunch of like third graders running around with a black belt in karate, and how society might change with that.
You know, I'm actually not opposed to.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that idea. I
Lean forward.
I think. Well, I mean, martial arts does instill a level of discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And that discipline carries over into any other part of your life, right? I know I learned a lot. I went to judo growing up. I did judo. And
You were the judo kid.
I suppose it was kind of, I don't know, maybe it was a fad at that time, but everybody was doing judo, and
It's the coolest. It's all the
my
rage.
master, Mr. Hayashi, I mean, I still remember the lessons and morals that he inculcated in the class at that time.
But you don't remember how to fight.
Of course he does.
My fighting skills have probably diminished significantly. I agree. Although I did saber fencing in my high school years, so I did more sword
So you could-
fighting.
You could be a pirate,
That was my goal. Yes.
Or
to
he could be a
pirate.
but not a
A
ninja
pirate. A
You're,
pirate priest. That was
you're
my
halfway
goal.
to-
Just wear all black.
Exactly.
I mean,
you're halfway to the ninja pirate. you just lost the ninja part.
Yes. So
lost his way.
no, I think that I like that idea. I think that there's a lot of promise there.
Yeah, just like replace PE with martial arts. Leave that all over my face. Just replace PE with martial arts. I don't know, like give them a variety to choose from, make it mandatory, and then boom, we have, I don't know, Spartan 2.0.
I don't know.
Well, the idea with PE is to instill a level of camaraderie or to kind of cultivate team spirit.
Really?
Ah.
I thought it was mostly doing push-ups.
Wait,
I thought it was just like to get you fit.
oh, is that
Yeah.
they just do exercises now, or is
Well, no,
yeah.
you play sports, but
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
from my experience with PE, at least before high school,
Mhm.
it did quite the opposite of building a sense of teamwork.
That is very true. Like,
People got very heated about indoor soccer with a volleyball. Like,
yeah.
well then that's too bad.
but that's the nature of kids, which is why we should teach them karate. So when they do get angry at each other,
They settle
there's a
on the
risk of
black
death.
top.
Like,
yeah,
there's-
yeah. That's
there will be hospital bills.
I think along with any martial arts is, I mean, the teacher is going to cultivate a sense of responsibility when using this, right? A good teacher is going to be able to teach the student that this shouldn't be used in order to enforce your will, but in order to defend yourself. So I think I'm not too concerned about that.
You're not?
Unless there's like a proliferation of like
There-
these crazy psycho teachers.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. The black.
how many kids are there
lotus
in
or something,
America?
I don't know.
80 million?
2.5
I can't say I know.
million.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't it
That's
like,
a lot of kids to count on all being nice and respectful with their newfound power.
Well, we can already say that kids, in of themselves, like most of them are not kind or respectful.
Yeah.
So then you give
People are
them.
kind of respectful, and kids are the purest humans.
That's
They
a
have no
stretch.
filter.
Ooh, that's a big statement. Okay, but
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, the reason why they're so disrespectful may be because they don't have a context in which they're taught respect
true.
or responsibility. And a martial arts course may be precisely that setting.
That's fair.
I don't.
Are there any?
And they don't have deathmatch every time that there's a disagreement. Like,
Are there any philosophical lessons of the past on the value of being physically capable,
yeah,
or are they all more about the mind?
there has to be something about.
Like, did Nietzsche
The
ever get
swollen
into
end.
boxing or anything? Like,
Well, Nietzsche was all about will.
okay, so no,
Power is
or yes.
will.
Who?
So if I'm able to enforce my will and get what I want, then I shouldn't allow any kind of feeble chains of morality to hold me back. I need to break those chains.
Just throw away morals for power.
Well, when I say morals,
Nice.
for Nietzsche, the moral claims of his generation were the Judeo-Christian ones.
Yeah.
And he criticized them as chains that held back the will of the strong. And he said, strong people should shatter those chains and enforce their will.
So
Yeah, that was
Okay.
his.
so like Katy Perry.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think that's
It's
a
a
theme
singer.
in her songs.
Okay.
Is it like
I
fire?
don't know,
I
probably.
thought hers was like freedom or something.
She's a cheerleader, is what her music is. It's just
Really?
gets you in a good.
Oh
mood.
wait, yeah. That's true. That's true. What was I gonna say?
So is this what's gonna happen when we teach these kids karate? Is they're gonna start going, break the chains of morality.
Exactly.
We have the power.
Turn off morals. 2
Well,
minutes prep time.
If you teach them that these skills are to be used to defend themselves, not to enforce their will,
Defend
upon
themselves
others,
from the chains of morality.
Exactly.
uh,
Defend themselves from not enforcing their will.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. You're
You thought this show was gonna
you're
get better.
determined.
Didn't
Where
you?
there's
that
a
they're
will,
all
there's a way.
Nietzsche's,
They're-
or Nietzscheans.
I mean, yeah. Have you met a 13-year-old ever?
I suppose, yeah.
He
Like-
was one for a year, or were you?
Oh,
Maybe he just skipped that year. He was 12.
yeah. My students
14.
recently suggested that have you heard of the redactor?
No.
The redactor, when you read the Pentateuch,
Yeah.
the redactor is the person who put all the stories together. And so every once in a while you can see the redactor like weaving a story together. He's kind of this mysterious figure. You never quite know what his agenda is. But in any case, they concluded that I was the redactor. That I was
I think
there
that
at
checks
the
out.
beginning.
And you know who the redactor also is?
Oh boy, is this gonna
Santa
be a callback? Oh.
Mr. Page, it's you. No, just
You know, funny thing.
Mr.
Earlier,
Page is Santa Claus.
And
there.
Mr. Page walks out of the room like, Okay, now
That's a show. But I did go to a Christmas club meeting earlier this week, and it was
it was yesterday, right?
yeah, it was yesterday because
Not even on December. Not
we
even
didn't
on 25th.
have activity period today. That's the reason why. Because the closest thing was
If only there was like an hour of free time. Somewhere between 7:50 and 3. That we could have had a party. If only. But I guess we'll never know. You know.
Okay, what kind of? We didn't have a free activity period today.
We had a late start. That means
No,
there was an hour where there was
okay,
nothing going
no,
on.
no one wants to come early for a party. I mean,
It's coming in at the same time.
okay, you know what, Podrick? That would be taking away the value of a late start. It's not like taking away the value of Christmas. It's completely different.
I tend to agree with Emmanuel. I'm not a morning person at all. I want to sleep
Exactly.
in when there's. But no, I
yeah.
appreciate your desire to create a positive atmosphere.
If they're going
Yeah, nice
to ruin
try.
Christmas for me, I want them to do it consistently. Is what
Okay,
I'm saying, and
okay.
do it on the 25th.
Well,
So
sorry.
I'm not surprised by Christmas music weaving down the hallways during my activity period.
That's fair. They did
I
play.
was caught off guard, and I felt very frightened. And I
He
spoke.
was out of his comfort zone.
I,
Very uncomfortable.
I spoke to who do you speak to here? If
Who do
you're-
you speak to? It's a
if
very
there's
good
a
question.
problem, like
You're
Dr. Kesterson,
and you're adult.
I guess.
Oh,
Sure.
yes.
I spoke to Dr. Kesterson,
Checks out.
and he was like, "Yeah."
Wait, you actually spoke to Dr. You did not.
I just asked who you would speak to.
Oh
Do you
my
think I actually spoke to him?
Okay.
No, he just couldn't remember this very particular
Okay.
person.
It's like you're making up a story and halfway through, wait a minute, I need to get this detail. I need to make
They
this
need-
believable. What would
they
I
need-
do if this was real? And
Exactly what I did.
okay, but back to the kids with karate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, judo kid.
I think that movie. Didn't he
Have
paint
you all
a-
seen The Karate Kid? Or is that dated now?
I've seen
No,
the.
no, it's
I've seen the
the third one.
Jaden Smith
Oh.
one, which as I understand, it is not good.
I thought it was okay. But
Isn't-
I
but
haven't
it's like
seen the original one.
yeah, okay.
yeah, with
They
little-
might be dated at this point.
I saw the Jaden Smith, Jackie Chan one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called karate, but whatever.
Did you see how violent those kids
Well,
were in
it's
that
kung
movie?
fu, obviously,
Yeah.
right? It's China. But oh yeah, they were pretty violent.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
That's what happens when you give children power.
So we're gonna give them all that like.
I-
I got picked last for the last time.
Yep.
Like, although
Maybe
it would be
there'd be,
pretty
like-
cool if you were watching, like, if you're a teacher and you chaperone like, recess for the 4th graders, and then all of a sudden they break out into like a perfectly choreographed karate fight.
That would be fun.
I'd be impressed. Yeah.
So basically, there's absolutely no
I'm starting to
fault
turn
of this.
around on this. I think everyone should know karate, and then everyone should have like it shouldn't be a crime. Nothing should be a crime if you were doing karate while you did that. Like if I
Nothing-
used karate
Explain.
to rob your convenience store, well, guess what? I was using karate, and it's so cool that you can't charge me with anything.
So
So like,
normative bounds and moral claims are broken if and when you use karate. Is that the
this isn't even about will. This is just like using something.
specifically
This is-
karate? It's a
In order
method.
to break, like the best way to break the chains of morality on those who would will it, we need to make it so the chains are never clamped around them to begin with. So even if they're not strong enough to break it, it doesn't matter because they know karate and it's cool.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like I'm not getting as much momentum with this as I was last time
I
with
feel
the
like
Christmas music.
well,
Well, also I'm crazy tired, so
yeah,
You're tired?
I'm crazy
I
tired.
knew we shouldn't have done
I
this.
finished
And I'm
my
hungry.
grading last night. So.
yeah. Sorry that we're doing this on a Wednesday, but
What do you have?
you can blame my mom.
Yeah, Emmanuel's mom. Don't listen to this show again.
She's wonderful. She's not to blame.
But anyway,
Well,
I
if she
haven't.
raised Emmanuel, she's
yep,
amazing.
yep.
mom.
I'm proof of, I'm basically a miracle.
Okay,
But-
let's delegate.
Enough about my greatness.
Okay,
No, okay.
Moving on,
But yeah,
moving on.
so basically, everyone
Before
should learn
Emmanuel, this has
karate.
happened before.
Everyone should
you
learn karate, right?
Everyone
Is
should
that
learn
the
karate.
consensus?
I'm comfortable with the idea that people develop self-defense. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
It should be mandatory in our school systems.
In order to get into
I
like the
think in
best
Japan they
universities,
do. stuff like that.
How about this? Everything in society hinges around your karate ability. So it's like, you want to get into this university,
Okay, this is
you have
getting out
to
of
beat
hand.
the president at karate.
Oh man,
You want to open a new credit card, you got to beat this bank teller at karate. And you best believe everyone is at least a mini boss in this game,
I think that's pretty solid, because like then you sort of have to like, I don't think currency would be as big of a deal, right? Because like
In order to buy a cup of coffee,
yes,
you
have
need
to
to
ju-
defeat the barista.
it's like trade and bartering, but through
Yeah, and then
combat.
clerks would be no, because it would naturally
No.
solve itself because clerks would be fighting so much that they'd just be way better than everyone else.
Exactly.
And so no one would be able to beat them and Starbucks would stay in business.
Right. Therefore,
Wait, if I am preventing anybody from getting the product that I'm trying to sell, I'll go out of business. Okay, this doesn't make any sense.
but the
But you'll
people.
have your dignity.
Exactly, that's true.
No.
Above all, dignity. Isn't
How-
that like that's the morals that
Can
they
I
would
use
instruct?
my dignity as a wage to use? Well,
That'd be the new currency.
no.
Yeah.
Dignity,
Oh my
dignity,
God.
and honor.
I swear. Wait, so in order to get treated by a doctor, I would have to defeat him in combat.
Yeah, and
Yes.
if it's like you broke your leg so you can't beat anyone at karate, well, tough luck. You better hope your doctor is a cripple.
This is the most
So,
dysfunctional society I have heard of. Okay.
this is what we need. I think the podcast doesn't work unless you hear Mr. Page, like, giggling in
That's very
amazement
true.
at our thought process.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's when you know it's happening.
Ay, 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 ay. This is horrible.
It's amazing.
Alright, I'll move on from this before we have another
Connection
Santa
to-
Claus
Yeah,
episode.
we don't need another cycle. What's that, like an argument that goes in a
Uh,
circle? What's it called? Like a
Circular argument.
Yes, a circular. argument.
Downward cycle? Or
It's
whatever.
like a slippery slope.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like
Okay,
circular.
anyway.
Cyclopentic.
Is there any school of philosophy on what it means to be romantic? Not romanticism.
Oh, like a smooth talker, blah blah blah. Is that
Or,
what you're
or
saying?
yeah, like
Hmm.
what does it require to fall in love? Because I
Hmm.
think I have someone who did it right here, right now, on Yahoo Answers.
You have to fight someone
Without
in karate.
context.
Well,
Just
Aristotle talks about the various kinds of love. Or
Oh, is that the Greek
specifically
words?
Friendship.
like agape?
Mm.
And Eros
Yeah,
and
very
all.
good.
Other ones?
Eros,
Eros,
agape,
Ophelia,
philia.
and Storge.
Look at wait. How do you know that?
We were Mr.
Diva.
Shudo.
Oh, decomposed.
And
okay.
Shudo.
Well,
actually.
Shudo taught us
Both.
agape. I don't know if you
Yeah.
really cared about the other ones.
I think he might have mentioned Philly. There was a
I think
Philly
he mentioned
retreat.
them.
That's
I
when
don't
I
know if
first
we
heard that.
worried about them.
And then
Yeah.
Debo was the other two.
Yeah, so there's friends
Evo.
of convenience. So people that you associate with in order to get something
What's-
out of them.
What's
Like
the highest
Podrick.
one?
The highest friendship is the desire for the other's good
Above
for
you.
their own sake,
Okay.
right? Not in order for me to get better or for me
Right.
to get anything out of it. It's the love that gives out of their own
I was-
kindness for
sake
the
of
other,
giving.
for the sake of the other. Yeah.
Is that,
That makes sense.
romantic love? Is that like what's the one where it's
You
like
Can,
definitely
like-
have to have that if it's going to be authentic romantic love. Yeah,
So it's like a
Like love
require.
for a
It's a
spouse.
requirement.
but it's
Isn't
not
there another one of them?
sufficient, right?
Like that's agape.
There would be more than that, right? Yeah, that would be.
Isn't
agape,
another
yes.
one for like romantic, like
Eros
love of the
is
spouse? Is that
romantic,
Eros?
right? Isn't
Eros
that
is
romantic?
romantic, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we get the word
I
erotic.
think this person has
Yeah.
achieved full Eros.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Maximum Eros.
Okay. This person asked, "How romantic was this moment between me and this man?" All right.
Is this from the point of view of a? Actually, just go.
I believe this was a woman. Might have been a guy. I don't know. I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I was standing behind a man I've known for years. He knew I was behind him. He was talking to a man and a woman in front of him. He bent over and moved his behind into my front, and he
Oh.
accidentally stood on my foot. I then put my hand on his waist. Then he stood upright. He looked down at my foot, and then he turned his head and looked at me, and I looked back at him. We looked into each other's eyes for a minute, a full minute, before he looked away, and I still had my hand on his waist. How romantic was this moment between me and him?
Okay, can I just say that's like probably the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, come on.
That's
Like,
the creepiest thing I've ever heard.
Staring at each other for a minute
Make
with
a
your
Disney
hand on the
movie
waist.
about this.
Yes, that's like
Do you know how long
they
a
must have gone
minute
through like
is?
a musical number through that time.
You know how long a minute is to look into someone's eyes and not say anything?
And it's like
absolutely
every
right.
other second feels even longer than the
With
last.
your hand on his waist and his foot on your foot.
And he didn't like resist, so
Yeah, he just stared.
I agree.
You just-
A minute is a long time. She is not accurately reporting how long it was.
We don't know this.
You don't know that.
For a while, for a minute.
No, she says for a minute.
Yeah, I would imagine she's not trying to report that like
I think she is.
a play-by-play.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the
exactly how much
benefit of
time.
the doubt. And
I mean,
assume for
we've
a
been
whole
pretty
minute.
descriptive up until this minute.
Yeah.
Already. So
I don't see why not. I see absolutely no reason why this could not be
So
true.
first up, how is it romantic when nothing at all is communicated?
They communicated through their actions and
love
feelings.
First off, she's known him for years.
Yeah.
She's only learned what he's like through spending a minute looking into his eyes.
Well,
at a time.
exactly. What about the? Oh my God, there's so much more to a relationship.
Do you think it would be appropriate for
know.
him to get down on one knee, right then, right there, and just dedicate himself to her for the rest
It
of his
would
life?
be entirely
I think that would be
inappropriate.
the defining moment of a relationship.
We're gonna get a Tom Hanks movie,
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yeah.
summer blockbuster,
Yeah. This
summer.
Love at first
person
grab.
probably doesn't
His foot, her
understand
foot, her hand, his waist.
relationships
1
or
minute.
how to interact with people or any kind of intimacy. Well, because that's intimate. Let's put it in quotation
I mean,
marks. That's
Sounds
Her
intimate.
hand was on his waist
And so this
She didn't
person
let
has
go.
blown it out of
for a
proportion.
minute. That is so long.
No.
I think this is.
That's my favorite part about this. A full minute.
I want to think that's not hyperbole.
I think that is hyperbole.
I think it's not.
It's definitely hyperbole.
If anything, she's toning it down.
Yes, it could have been 5 minutes if she just wanted to keep it.
It could have been a full
realistic,
hour.
you know?
It could have been for the rest of the event.
Okay, so you're telling me that they looked at each
Some-
other and ignored the other two people that were there that he was just talking to
Some say
for a minute while they stared into each other's eyes awkwardly because the other people are obviously there and have been talked to just
in
recently.
fact,
no.
Mr. Page,
Okay, that's
I-
not
I-
what happened.
some
just wanna say love
they're
conquers
still
all,
staring
so-
into each other's eyes to this day.
Yeah, that's,
She just asked this question on Yahoo, like kind of
and
from
then
the side of
immediately
using
went
her
back to
peripheral.
looking at-
No, she didn't look
Right.
away. She just kind of used her peripheral. I'm sure it took her like 15 tries to get it through correctly,
Yeah,
but
this
she
is-
did it. And
Hey,
it's
love conquers
romantic.
all. Yes, that is very romantic. That's like maximum Eris right there.
Whoa.
That if I could have that moment with someone, my
That'd
hand
be
on
like,
my waist and my foot on her foot, like
oh man.
these are very.
Those are relationship goals, is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
The
That
top of the
is-
foot is
that
a very,
is very
intimate
true.
body part. All right.
Goals. It is. That's true.
Wow.
What is
I
it?
am so proud
know.
of you too. That is wonderful. Great. This is.
That's what I look for in a relationship.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Do-
How long she'll hold on to my waist.
So this is philosophy hour. I wanna approach this from a philosophical standpoint.
Okay.
Can you trap someone by putting your hand on their waist? Or no, if you're gonna trap them, you gotta put your foot on their foot and then grab their hand and put it on your waist and then stare at them.
No.
Can you make someone fall in love with you? Is this like metaphysical human nature? Is this in the human nature?
I'd buy it.
Okay.
To
So.
fall in love with someone after staring at them for a full minute?
So there. I forget who it was. Who popular. There was this popular whatever thing going around about a series of questions that you ask each other.
Speed dating?
And then
Like
at the
20 questions.
end of that, you stare into each other's eyes, without smiling or asking questions or blah blah blah. You just stare into each other's eyes for
Sounds
5
pretty accurate.
minutes,
Oh.
and the idea being is that just because of the vulnerability that you both went through in revealing the answers to those intimate questions, right? And then that moment of prolonged eye contact, that can't help but trigger something in your neurochemistry that opens you up to, intimate feelings towards the other person. It doesn't have to be romantic, but
Yeah,
I think we whittled it down even further.
Yes.
We've gotten more to the core of it,
Exactly.
and the hand on the waist is a shortcut. I think.
Right. That's
It's a neural pathway, right?
right. Exactly.
Connects. Yes.
It basically halves, or in this case, 1/5 the time that it would take for
okay.
it to usually happen.
Yes,
So.
that's fantastic.
I think that checks out.
Okay.
So yes, that's the most romantic. That's very romantic.
You think that's romantic?
That's
Mr. Page,
pretty romantic.
do you think that's romantic?
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
I think Mr. Page thinks it's romantic,
Yeah.
and he's just not saying.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
shy.
admit it.
You know,
Right.
we're here for you, Mr. Page.
Thank you.
Anytime,
I'm glad.
anytime you need someone, not me. Anytime you need someone to put their hand on your waist and stare into your eyes,
Yeah, I can't
I'll,
commit to that either. I
I'll-
could find someone maybe, but
I'll find someone on the street. I don't
You're solidifying the whole creepy factor. Thank you for that.
know. Just let me know.
Okay,
Alright.
that's great. Thanks.
I'll
for
give
that.
you my number. Apparently, I can get yours from a friend of mine who had you.
Mm.
So
gee.
here's actually something. Do you put your phone number on the syllabus?
Oh no, I do not.
Okay, because I've had teachers who do that. And I'm
Mm.
like, I would not do that.
Oh no, I would definitely.
That's
not
such
do
a
that.
risk.
Eh.
Definitely not. No.
Okay.
When I have to,
When I have to share my phone number.
when I go on
When I have to
field
teach
trips or
class.
when I'm prolonged, vacations or whatever away from school,
Yeah.
and I'm carpooling or whatever, then the kids have to have my phone number just in case of an emergency. But yeah, that's the situation.
I guess that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on to here's something. Is this ethical? All right, we'll have a little
Ethics,
section.
oh boy.
I'm gonna read an article this time. I'm not gonna read a Yahoo answer. I think I've had this one for a week and I forgot about it because we didn't do it last week.
After our slight break.
So have you heard about this? The California restaurant that proudly serves Popeye's chicken as their own and charges $13.
Wait a minute. So it's like they take chicken from Popeyes.
They buy it from
restaurant,
Popeyes.
They buy it and then they resell it.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. That's despicable. That's the worst thing a person can do.
Let me read the full article. All right.
Please do.
I'm gonna skim through it.
I'm enraged.
Okay, a popular breakfast spot has found itself in the middle of a fried chicken controversy after a Yelp reviewer attacked the restaurant for using Popeye's chicken and passing it off as their own. Okay, so this place is called Sweet Dixie Chicken, which, like, I wouldn't even walk in there, alright, with that name.
Yeah.
It is a small restaurant specializing in comfort food with a southern influence. And this guy called him out because he says, "Before my friends and I got seated, we saw them quickly bring in 2 large boxes of Popeyes to the kitchen. And then, once he saw that, he ordered the chicken and waffles, and he said it tasted suspiciously like Popeyes." So I kindly asked, he kindly asked his waiter how they made fried chicken, and after checking, the waiter admitted that they do just use Popeyes. And then the manager compensated them for the entire meal. Okay. That would be, like,
Isn't that, like-
crippling enough, right, for a restaurant?
Yeah,
That
of
you're
course.
selling fast food at
Was it-
$13.
Was it like everything from Popeyes? Or just...
I think it was just like, because if you get the chicken waffles, you get like one piece of chicken, or
Yeah.
like a chicken breast.
Yeah.
So one piece out of like, I'd imagine somewhat like an 8-piece bucket for that price.
Yeah.
Here,
For
explain,
the same price as the full bucket, you get one piece out of it.
Yeah, explain why that's outrageous to you, or why.
'Cause
you're
Popeyes is
offended
way
by
cheaper.
that.
Yeah. And especially if you're selling someone
Aren't you
else's...
from the South?
I am. Yeah, I'm from New Orleans. Yeah.
Have you ever...
Popeye's not a big thing in New Orleans? I
Oh
don't-
no, it is a big thing.
Yeah.
Have you just never had it? Or...
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I'm just. I
I'm
want you to
outraged
explain
that you're
why
not
you think it's
outraged.
outrage. Well,
I want to know why manual
I'm not
thinks. I haven't
saying-
made any
Okay.
judgments yet. I haven't
Okay.
stated my opinion yet.
Yeah.
But we have a manuals.
When you
outraged.
take someone's great thing
Okay.
and just... This is plagiarism right here. They're taking it off, selling it as their own, and for more. That's just terrible.
Okay. So plagiarism would
And-
mean you don't acknowledge. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Wait, I don't remember what I was gonna say. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Plagiarism would mean you don't acknowledge the source, right? So I'm passing off something as though it were my own without acknowledging the source. However, it seems like when he asked where the chicken came from, they told him it was Popeyes.
So it's
Okay,
not
yeah,
plagiarism.
Because they asked. If you
Okay.
didn't ask.
If you
then-
think this is bad enough though, and you're gonna love what the owner responded with.
Oh boy.
Okay, we proudly serve Popeye's spicy tenders, the best fried chicken anywhere and from New Orleans. Okay, so it is big in New Orleans.
Well, there you
That
go.
is big.
There you
because it's from New Orleans. Anyway,
go.
which are delivered twice a day. We also, in case you need to know, buy our gumbo from a friend who sells it at a local farmer's market. She says, we promote usually small batch local producers in our menu. The exception is Popeyes. We can't fry at this location, and the fried chicken I love so much, and I ate a ton of it in the ATL, so I serve it. What is AT?
Yeah, is that like an abbreviation for Atlanta?
maybe? don't know.
In the ATL?
Is that how people?
I have no
I
idea.
do not think so.
She also added that they don't
Check.
mill their own flour or grow their own veggies. Okay, that's a little different.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Well, I am interested in as to why you all are outraged by this, or you think this is wrong. I mean, restaurants habitually, use bread that's made in a bakery, and they serve
course.
it in their restaurant. A patisserie or a bakery might get their bread from somewhere else that they then use in order to make their pastries. A lot of restaurants borrow from other places and serve it there, and they'll just acknowledge that this bread comes from Odelice or something like that, and
I
then
think
they,
Part of it is like if you're a bakery and you get your bread from somewhere else to use it, it's like an ingredient. You're making something with it. These people are just getting the chicken and then just serving it again.
That's like going
and
to
it's
McDonald's.
way more
and just, like,
expensive.
yeah. It's
Because it's like, oh, it's a small locally owned place where we're just serving Popeyes. Like,
well, people are willing to pay for it, so.
I don't think they will be once they find out because they weren't telling people.
they get exposed, and the ATL does mean Atlanta.
Okay,
So.
they admitted it
Yes.
when pressed,
Exactly. After question.
but they were
Name.
totally fine with not telling anyone.
Yep. That's kind of scandalous. If you ask
Yeah,
me.
I can't say I'm that outraged.
Okay, well, if you have someone selling Popeyes right outside of the Popeyes for like
Way more. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
for-
can get. I haven't been to Popeyes in a while, so it's.
Yeah.
You can get like an 8-piece bucket or something like that
Yeah.
for $10.
Yeah.
It's a lot of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so say that, and say someone across the street has like a food cart.
Yeah.
And they're selling one piece
Mhm.
out of that 8-piece bucket. The same piece, mind
Exactly.
you, not like their own homemade higher quality chicken. Just they straight bought it from that Popeyes for $13.
Mhm. Yeah.
How are you okay with that?
yeah.
And here's
what
the
he
thing.
said.
Here's the thing. They're lying to people about it. They're not telling them it's from Popeyes. They're saying, "Oh, this
Right,
is."
yeah, let's assume they're completely lying,
Well,
they're
I mean-
hiding it. In fact, when people ask them, they won't tell them
No,
the truth,
no.
right? It's like,
It's
no, it's okay, we can create that scenario.
no, it's.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not creating it. It's
Yeah.
they
Mental
weren't telling
chess.
anyone. It's not like it says on the menu. Oh, by the way, this is from Popeyes. It's
Right. Yeah, they're
If you ask them,
completely
it's like-
hiding it. They won't even tell them it's from Popeyes, right?
Oh, well,
yeah, they
that's-
won't tell them unless
Okay.
they're asked.
Uh,
Unless you, because if he hadn't seen them go
Yeah.
in with Popeyes,
He wouldn't have questioned it.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
So, my concern isn't with what they're doing. My concern is what the consumer is doing. Okay, so when the consumer sees these two options in front of him, okay, if he willingly pays more
That's
for
Well, the
the
idea
one
is
piece, then that's on him.
the idea
Okay.
is chicken from like independent restaurant is usually better.
Okay, well, you're bringing that to the table.
Well, that's the
That's
idea. Is when you like fast food is really cheap, and that's kind of the allure of it.
Yeah.
But if you go to a real place, like
Well,
you're
locally
paying
owned.
more because it's like legit. It's,
Yeah, that's what you expect it to be like. I don't know, more. I don't think more personal is the proper term, but like a different sort of time
It's just
is put
it's just
into
high
it.
like a burger from the local bar and grill in my neighborhood is gonna taste better than a McDonald's burger.
Yeah.
All right, it just is. That's what I expect. So if I find out that I'm paying $10 for a McDonald's burger,
Interesting. So before you knew that they were using the same burgers, you thought the local one was better. That's interesting.
I'm not saying that.
No, well,
That just,
Here's the thing.
That seems
It's
to be
it's
what's
not a perfect comparison because
Yeah.
burgers are a lot easier to tell apart than chicken.
Okay.
let's say that you're blind.
And in fact, I think in the article the guy says that the chicken was stale and like not.
Oh,
Well, like, because you bought it
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Popeyes and you had to bring it there
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
hold
I
on to it until someone ordered it. So,
that's just kind of, I don't know. I think just
And-
selling it in a restaurant is.
and in fact,
that's like the worst.
after
part
he
for
ordered
me
it, they
to
probably
me.
held on to it for like 10 minutes to make it seem like they were cooking chicken. Because if they just brought it out right away, it'd be a little suspicious that like, wow, you had that ready.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're creating things that aren't explicit in the story, but okay.
Oh no, it happened.
It also happened.
I saw it.
I
I
have
was
the
there.
inside scoop.
So I
saw
for
tapes.
instance, I'm at a game or whatever. I'm at a ball game, and I really want fried chicken. Somebody has taken the time and effort to bring fried chicken from
Yeah.
Popeyes to the ball game.
This is
I,
different.
I see. I see. What's,
I'd be
This is
willing to
different.
pay a premium
This is
for
different.
that fried chicken.
yeah, but
This
that's
is different. You're at the ball game for the ball game.
Exactly,
Right?
it's
And then when you're there, you're like, wouldn't it be nice to have fried chicken? But you can't leave because you want to see the ball game.
Right.
So someone who brought fried chicken, okay, that's one thing. But this is
a restaurant. It's
I
specifically
want to go
for-
eat somewhere. all right?
Exactly.
you are bringing yourself to the food, okay?
Yes.
They already had it.
That's the number one priority of your journey.
And you should be respected with a certain level of quality
Yes.
Okay.
for the price,
Yeah.
right? If they were selling this at the same price Popeyes was,
That'd be. I mean.
it'd be
They'd
weird,
Yeah,
losing money.
but I wouldn't be like
Okay.
outraged.
Well, then there would be absolutely no sense to it because they
Yeah,
lose
there
money.
is no sense to this. I think.
Maybe they
Well,
just felt
there
like
is
being
sense
nice
to
and
it. They're
giving people
making money,
Popeyes.
right?
Yeah.
They're a business. You
They're
want them
not
to
making
lose
their-
money?
Here's another point. They're not making their own food.
A lot of businesses don't make their own.
No,
food.
a lot of
that's-
businesses
Restaurants
don't.
make
Yeah,
their
they
a
own.
lot
use
of
different
restaurants don't make
ingredients.
their own ingredients.
Yeah.
This is just the meal, right?
Yes. This is
This is
the
different.
same thing because you're taking it directly from the source. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
This
you're
is-
serving it in a different place. Okay, yeah. I'm.
It's the same thing.
For instance, if this is a restaurant, let's say, and there's not a Popeyes that's nearby,
Yeah.
but I really want Popeyes, I would be happy to pay that premium if I could get Popeyes. Okay, I
Well,
don't want to go.
they're
out
in
of
a
my
capacity
way.
where they can go get
to get it.
Popeyes.
Yeah. Like it can't be that
Then
far.
you can
away.
go get Popeyes.
There has to be a Popeyes within
And
the
with
vicinity.
the prices at Popeyes, you're still gonna come out ahead
Yeah.
for the amount of chicken you're getting.
I still think the consumer shouldn't fool themselves. Okay, like if they,
They
want
weren't fooling themselves. The restaurant was fooling them.
No, they were perfectly willing. They saw the price of the fried chicken,
But-
and
Yeah.
they said that that's a fair price, and I was willing
With
to
the
pay
understanding-
that for
They
fried
didn't
chicken.
think
This
that
is
would
not
be
fast food
Popeyes.
fried chicken.
Exactly.
And that this is fried chicken that you made. Like
They had
I'm-
the expectation that it
that's
would be coming
part of
from
it
the
too,
store
is-
itself and not from Popeyes.
Okay,
is if I'm giving a
did they
restaurant my money-
hide that information from them?
They didn't
No.
make it explicit.
They,
They didn't-
told them. Okay.
They didn't make
After-
it aware. Like they had to ask.
Yeah.
I think. And transparency is very important.
Exactly,
in a
they should-
restaurant.
Yeah.
Transparency is important in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
So when you look at the restaurant of your menu of choice or whatever, you always see, oh, and we cook this, oh, and we cook this, and we cook this, and we cook this. Oh, and this bread, it's not from.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no restaurant
But
does
that's-
that. Okay,
I'm not
transparency
asking
is
them to
not
list off where they got the
important.
ingredients, but I'm saying if,
If you
you're
buy it-
buying your meal from another place and selling it to
Exactly.
me at a higher price,
At least
you should
say.
tell me.
You just said
Before
that
I order it.
transparency is paramount. And you have just showed me that transparency is not. Okay?
No.
Nobody concerns themselves about transparency when they're going to a restaurant. Okay?
But those are like different types. That's like. One's like the
Okay,
structure
I'll
of.
say this: no one does concern themselves with transparency, but they should.
okay, that's fine. We can say that.
That's fair.
yeah.
Right? And like, there's this Mexican place called Amigo Joe's
Okay.
that they make fried chicken too. Like, they opened a fried chicken place right next to them,
Mhm.
but that wasn't getting enough business because everyone kept going to the Mexican place.
Yeah.
So they closed that, but they still sell the fried chicken. Like, they still make it for you if you order it. It's like $20. It takes half an hour to make, and it is delicious. All right, it is way better than something you'd get at Popeyes or Kentucky Fried Chicken or something.
Well, okay. I mean,
And there's a reason for that.
I
It's
think
homemade. It's cared for. It's not like made off an assembly line.
Exactly.
I'm not.
And that's what they.
The idea of fast food is
That's
you're
the
getting a
expectation.
lot for a little. It's quantity over quality.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think people fool themselves with that narrative, right?
Like,
okay.
Fast food should be good, but like it doesn't have to be amazing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm never gonna be blown away by something I got at a fast food place.
If
okay?
you go to a local
Nor should I be.
restaurant-
I don't expect to be.
Yeah.
But at a restaurant, like at a
A
real
local
restaurant,
restaurant.
I don't expect to get fast food for a local restaurant price.
Okay, here, this is what I'll say, because I think that's a fair point. But my argument is I think people do fool themselves with the narrative that by paying more it will be better, okay?
That's true in of itself.
That's
But-
not necessarily true.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
no.
But what
I
I'm saying is
understand
there are
that.
certain
To an extent.
classes of food that you really should not expect. Like, if I'm talking about fried chicken, I'm not talking about a fine dining experience, okay?
But there is fried chicken
I
that's better
don't
than other
know.
fried
If I want good food, I'll order, something that, a filet mignon, okay?
Okay, that's kind of.
You can't
subjective,
have-
though.
A fast food filet mignon, okay? So
chicken. Says you. I'm
if
sorry.
if I want good food that I want to pay more for, it will be a higher quality and kind of food, okay?
I suppose.
If I'm looking for something like fried chicken or a cheeseburger, which is something that should not take a long time to make in the first place,
Good fried chicken.
I shouldn't be surprised when, I shouldn't expect it to be expensive or whatnot. That's where I'm coming from. But
You shouldn't expect it to be expensive. So you shouldn't expect to pay $30 for it.
He was willing to pay. whatever, So obviously he
Or 13, not 13.
Yeah,
13.
yeah. I would say like, wait a minute.
he was willing to pay that much. So I think the consumer was foolish. I think the restaurateur, sure, he's trying to make money. You know that when you're going into a restaurant and a business that they're trying to make money. You should be the educated one.
Okay.
It just still feels scummy to me. Like,
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't.
you're passing it off as your own.
Again, they did not, right? They asked.
When
and
pressed.
They did. Yeah, they didn't.
revealed it.
If you're gonna do that kind of thing, you should at least make it more explicit.
I think that's part of the restaurant like norm that unless you're going to a fast food place or a chain or something, what is being made for you is the chef
Again,
and
no.
like what they're making.
Yeah.
You go to different restaurants. Every single menu that I've seen never says, "Oh, and we make this here and we make that here."
That's because that's
No.
understood that you make that
Yeah,
there.
I feel like we're going in circles with
Yeah.
this.
I think we're repeating the same thing, but okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
I can't get outraged by this.
we'll move on. Would you go there and get their chicken though?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
no one would, which is why they had to lie about it.
Boom. We're right. Okay, let's move on.
Because they know they're wrong. And I think you do too, Mr. Page.
I definitely do not.
Okay, I have two others. We can... Oh, I think this one was removed. Oh, crap. Can I still access it? I can.
And access it.
Okay, but...
Let's get the access.
Okay, so I have two others. I have an Einstein note about the happiness of a modest life was sold for $1.5 million. Or a job serves an eviction notice to an overdue baby and it works.
A what, sorry?
That's going crazy outside.
Yeah, so
But
people are getting intense outside. A judge serves an eviction notice to an overdue baby and it works.
That's.
I'm going to do that
good.
one.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
That sounds sensationalizing, but okay.
Yeah, the moderators of the subreddit didn't seem to be too into it, but I'm gonna read about it. It's like, wow, this is really short.
I think this is proof that babies have the absolute sense of justice.
A Utah mom in her final days of pregnancy gave her baby an eviction notice and then made it an official with the judge's signature. So I guess she's friends with this judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's supposed to be a
She
bit.
went to and she went to work. So she works as a judicial assistant, and she jokingly asked Judge Len Davis to serve an eviction notice on her baby.
So it was a bit.
He did, and it worked. Less than 12 hours later, the baby was born.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you
I
can.
think okay.
I love.
People like to
I love
think
you're all-
this is a coincidence that the baby just happened to be born after the eviction notice. Emmanuel thinks it's the baby, right?
Yes.
Was listening to orders. Here's what I think. I think this judge is magical.
Oh,
Whatever
man.
notice he signs will happen.
That's
Like,
very
this
true.
is straight Twilight Zone.
That is
okay?
very true.
He needs to utilize this power to start dropping babies. Like
I think causation does equal correlation in this case, and
correlation
he's
equals causation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
100% reason why the pregnancy occurred.
Here's what I want to use. If you had like, have you heard of Death Note?
No.
It's an anime where like you write someone's name in a notebook
And they
and
die.
like they die.
Go
what
figure.
if what like a little bit more vague? You write a thing where you write that someone will do something
And it happens.
and it happens.
So basically, just like writing.
Philosophically,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna throw that adverb around to make this sound to make the show sound philosophical when it's not really.
Throw in a Plato quote or something.
What would you do with that power
Right.
besides getting overdue babies out?
Play God.
Right. We'd have to narrow down on causality there, right? Okay, so we're saying in this scenario that we have this notebook, right? And every time we write something, we notice that it happens. Yeah?
Yes.
In the world. We're noticing this
It happens.
concurrence of events. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I write something
How
and
about
it happens.
You don't even necessarily have to notice what happens. It just happens. Like it's a new law of physics. Whatever you write on this paper happens
Yeah.
because philosophy. So
That
Sound logical.
yeah, well, I mean, do you want to talk about causality? We could talk about
I
causality.
want to talk about what you
want
do
to talk
with
about
this
the
power.
notebook. Oh, well,
I think this is more
power.
an ethics question.
Oh, okay.
We're just saying this exists.
Okay. This
Yes.
this does exist.
Let's like
I don't
forget
want to
like
get too heavy-handed
yeah.
on poor Stephen. All right.
Okay.
So
Just go with what you got.
Okay. What would I do with this notebook? Yeah, that's a good question.
You know what I'd do?
Okay, let's hear it.
I'd stop this lady from buying Popeyes anymore. I'd
Yes.
ban her from all restaurants.
Exactly.
Okay, but what would you do, Mr. Page?
No, I mean that's a good question. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that notebook, and I would probably destroy it if I could.
Greater good, Schmader Foot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can write in the notebook
Yeah.
that like this notebook will be destroyed. But once
Great.
that happens, loophole. That writing isn't there anymore. The notebook's back. You can't get rid of it.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
The notebook is a constant.
Yeah. I
The
think
notebook
that,
is a new universe. You can't get rid of it. You
yeah,
have to
that
have
kind of power is
No dodging this question.
So bad.
it. You have to
Basically
have it,
omnipotent.
and you have to use it every week at least once.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Otherwise, the world will.
that would
Are you
be-
gonna be lame and just be like, my alarm will go off at the normal time? Like,
Well, that. I mean, just try to imagine the crazy corrupting influence that notebook will have on you.
yeah,
Okay.
man, try to imagine that.
Oh
Ah.
man, what a feeling
Well-
that'd be.
well, just
the
think-
ultimate rush.
So let's narrow this down.
You
to-
know how far I could lean back in my chair?
You could go like 90 degrees.
Oh yeah, man. I'd
So-
just be laying down.
when you're a child and you're
Greatest
growing
pleasure.
up and you're learning how to mind read. Okay.
When
so,
you're learning karate.
So psychologists call this mind reading, and the idea is that I'm a child. I've done something wrong. I don't want to get caught, so I lie about it.
Okay.
And what do I notice happens?
It works.
I don't suffer any consequences.
It always works.
Oh,
Never
man.
never backfires.
Isn't that an amazing trick?
Yeah.
It is.
Right?
It's a pretty neat trick. I don't see it failing anyway.
Now, sometimes it backfires, but sometimes
Like a 50% accuracy.
I don't get any consequences.
Boy,
Okay?
It's pretty
I
dope.
have some lies in my head.
How
Just
can
kidding.
I mean, how can I tell a child to stop using that trick? Okay, unless I try to inculcate some sense of morality, right? So
what is it? Inculcate?
to cultivate in someone's character.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
To implement.
To try to instill in someone's character.
To
So-
put in their character.
Now, imagine if I had this
One-
trick where I could just desire anything. Okay. That would be horribly corrupting.
Until you
okay?
run out of ink on your pen.
Yeah, no,
And then you have to get a new one.
no, I think that thing is
So-
evil. That that definitely should not.
So you
be
think like
used.
such power is just inherently evil?
So, that's an excellent question. Yeah. So,
Ooh, inherently, I
It's-
like that.
no, that's
Oh.
very good. Yeah. So, I would have to say that power in and of itself is not evil.
Right.
Okay. Now, so for instance, I believe that God is all powerful.
Yeah.
However, the human will is itself corrupted to some degree. Okay.
Ah.
And so, any kind of power,
Already, like,
that
sort of-
corruption gets magnified
I got you.
through the power.
Okay.
So if it's absolute power, the corruption gets even more absolute. Okay?
Okay.
And that's my fear. This is, of course, my anarchist past coming back to haunt me. But yeah.
So even you.
That's
So you
my,
say you would destroy it.
oh
Yeah, I don't buy
would
it.
You? Really?
I
would
can't-
I
you
don't
be
buy
able to?
well, that's
or
the
would
thing.
it be too tempting?
That's the thing. Like using it just once, I think, would be enough to corrupt you.
It's like a drug.
You'll notice how wonderfully useful that was, and you'll just keep convincing yourself, well, just this one more time, just this one more. I think, no, you cannot even use it once. I think it would be too dangerous.
Okay. So how many people would you kill with it, Emmanuel?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on how many people bugged me that week.
Yeah, well, okay.
But-
what would you do with it if you had it? Would you go the boring route?
If
This is not the boring route. This is the most difficult route, okay? It's so, the temptation is overwhelming to use
it's
this.
still kind of
There won't be any
boring.
giant space lizards. if we go the
Exactly.
route.
Like I mean, space battles.
Think of the philosophical
Yes.
gold mine that giant space lizards are.
What does it represent? Is it an allegory?
Triangles with 4 sides will exist.
Ooh.
What? You'll break
Okay,
reality.
Who wouldn't want to do that? Let's be real. Who wouldn't want to do that?
That would be.
Dividing by zero works. All the math teachers are out of a job.
Oh man.
Yeah, that
Just
would,
rewrite the laws of everything. Yeah, that'd probably go straight to my head after like the first day.
the very first time you used it would be enough to completely corrupt you.
I don't know about
Judge
that.
Page.
I am.
I think I'd be able to resist it.
Okay.
You just turn it into a joke book.
No, I would.
Just write down anything that you can think of.
Oh, you know what would be... Okay, this is actually cool.
Mhm.
This is a cool idea I've just had. Have you ever heard of, like, slam books? I don't think there is one at SLUH.
Do you throw them at people?
No, it's like... So it'd be like... I've heard about them. I've never seen one in real life, in action. It's... You It's like people in high school or middle school or whatever will pass around a book and they'll just write anonymously the worst things about people.
Oh, jeez.
Like, just cruel, and they won't say it. And I think it can be about anyone. Like, it doesn't have to be about one person.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like, this is David's slam book. It's like, this is everyone's, like...
Yeah.
I think, like, imagine what would happen if you gave this notebook out as the slam book.
Oh.
And people didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just started writing, like, she looks like she has 2 goat legs, and then she actually
That
has
sounds
goat
like
legs.
a Netflix original.
This sounds like a Black Mirror stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I want this to be a movie.
Let's
now.
patent that. Yes, we need to start writing that. Okay, but yes.
That's what the podcast will be from now on. We're going to be fleshing out this idea and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that as a premise for
People
story.
being given ultimate power.
Without knowing
Unknown.
it.
Not knowing that ultimate
That's-
power.
Oh, that's deep. That's
I do like that.
Do you think society would crumble if everyone was given that?
William Golding would eat his heart out.
Right, so that comes to the...
Because no one would just assume that, like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
they
sure,
wouldn't-
I'm sure I have.
See,
like, no one would test that.
When you think there's no consequences, you don't really like. It's sort of like no bars held. Like you don't have
no
any.
holds barred?
Yeah, whatever. That saying is dumb. What does that even mean? No bars held. Whatever.
No holds, like...
No hold. Do you like not hold bars? Who holds bars?
There's nothing being held back.
Okay, whatever.
No bars held means you're just not holding anything, I guess.
Well, okay.
Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah. What was I saying? But anyway, yeah. If you don't, if like,
Emmanuel would
If, like-
make it so no bars held is a real saying.
I'll do that. That's what I'll write in that book. But
And that'll corrupt him. All the cliches will be changed, just like slightly.
oh
You're
man,
doing too
English
much.
teachers would have some fun with that. What was I saying? Yeah. So like, if you were playing, let's say like you're playing with action figures and like you make them do all these dumb things, like you throw them on the roof and like you burn them, but it's a voodoo doll, so you're actually doing it to someone else. If you don't know that's actually like someone else's being that you're
I think
messing
that'd
with,
be interesting.
you do anything with it.
So you let them play around with it for a while, and then you tell them what it is and see how they respond.
Oh man, there'd be like this one character you find out.
do they just stop touching it, or do they get worse with it? Like, do they get more intense with it and start like just destroying it?
Oh man, I feel like they'd already be going like all out from the get go, but I could definitely. Maybe some people would. They'd manipulate it for their own gain, probably. I think.
Yeah. So you think absolute power ruins someone? Like just unchecked absolute power. What about absolute power over a person?
Over.
Like just one person.
That's
You
even
can make
worse.
them do whatever you want.
Okay, so
Oh.
for instance, so now we're talking about a
So,
story.
but you're limited to that person.
Yeah, so
You can't like.
I got you.
bend
And
the
is it
law.
like by their own means? Like, can they like?
I don't know.
So like, if you say
You have absolute power over them, so there are no checks on them on what you can do with them.
if you tell them to fly to the moon, will they just like sprout wings and just flap up there? Or will they have to like?
I think
Find
you'd have
means
to
to
specifically say that, or else it'd just be like in 20 years they take a spaceship.
So
to
it's
the moon.
like actually like bending,
You have to say like, I want
reality.
you to sprout wings and fly to the moon right now, and then they do it.
and so like reality just goes to that, or do they
Would
have to
you
find
turn
their
them
own
into a
means?
superhero?
Oh, they'd be a super villain.
Oh,
No. But yeah.
all the Popeyes would be mine.
That's my master plot, and no one could sell them for an overpriced amount.
I'd sell them for an overpriced amount if I had if I had a monopoly on
That would just be
Popeyes.
wicked. Like wicked evil, but yeah, I
This
digress.
is why
You get away with
monopolies are illegal.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah, I think tyrannies are legitimate in some situations. So, for instance, I just said something crazy, but
Yeah.
my argument is, for instance,
that
like
down.
a child and his parent, right?
If a child was giving absolute control over his parents.
That's not where I was going with that.
Every night.
But yeah, I think the
for dinner. That'd be pretty boring.
the parent
That'd
has
be
probably
like
kill him
That'd be
at some
pretty
point.
gross. Yeah. That'd
But then he could bring him back because he has absolute power over them.
I suppose.
An infinite
Oh,
life
man.
of just.
That's just like I have no
Dying.
mouth and I must scream levels of sadism. Whatever. What were you saying, Mr. Page?
This somehow is darker than last episode.
Yeah. I think this time it's like sort of more legitimate, according to Mr. Page, because I think we were completely right, but
Yeah,
he-
I haven't laughed as much this time. I think because we got into a real debate over the Popeyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was good. I'm glad
This
that
is-
you all
Oh, you
have
thought it was
this-
good? Then it was bad.
Oh,
Because you thought last episode was horrible, and it was great. So.
Oh my god. Well, with yeah. So the child. So you're saying, what about the child who has ultimate power over the parent? Is that the
Yes.
scenario now?
Yeah.
What would you
Well,
do?
yeah, I think that would be horrible. Yeah.
I
What if you
know.
don't tell them? They have to find it out on their own.
Wait,
Okay,
so you mean like the kid doesn't know?
Yeah, but like if they find out, you're not going to hide it from them. But it's just like one day they do, and we'll see if they ever figure it out. I bet it would take like a week.
Yeah.
Half an hour.
They'd be like, I don't want to do that, and then the parents would be, oh, okay.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it would take too long to figure that out.
They'd realize something was up, and they'd start pushing it,
Yeah.
and then
they test it,
and then
they
they'd never hit a limit.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, part of growing up is appreciating and respecting the limits that that are placed in your way.
Yeah.
A child who has no limits will never learn that, and thus will never mature.
Don't break through your barriers. Love them.
Yes.
Well-
Treat them with passion and
Barriers
stroke their
is something
hair.
else, right? Yeah. So limits means something that's in you. A barrier would mean something that's trying to be placed around you.
Like
right?
the moral chains of, or the
Like the
the
chains of
morality,
Yeah,
the moral chains of morality.
The moral chains of morality, as opposed to the corrupt chains of morality.
Morality is corrupt.
Oh, sounds like the work of a certain Satan.
Yeah, well, so Nietzsche
me
never
point
says that
fingers.
morality is corrupt. He does say that slave morality is bad, but
Is that like
Um,
blind faith and like?
so
Oh man, this is turning into a real conversation.
yeah, we don't need to do that. if you
No.
don't want
Yeah,
to.
that's a good component.
Yeah.
Back to kids with absolute power. I scream
Back
every
to-
night.
Wasn't there a movie where it was like
Jimmy Neutron.
kids became the adults and adults became not physically but socially and mentally or
Oh.
yeah,
I don't know that.
Yeah, I can't think of any movies for that.
it was probably some really awful kids movie
I feel like it'd be something like the '80s or something.
like Baby Geniuses.
Baby Geniuses. Have you ever
This
seen?
summer.
Oh wait,
You seen Baby Geniuses?
I think I've seen that movie. Yeah,
It's so bad.
that
Yes.
was such a long time ago. My God,
We
when was
need to-
that made?
We need to have a movie watch podcast with Mr.
Yes,
Page.
that's true. Just like
Okay, we usually record every Thursdays. We're doing this on Wednesday.
yeah,
So we're gonna do this every Thursday. Every Tuesday, we're gonna watch a movie with Mr. Page.
yep.
I don't see that happening. I'm sorry.
Let's just see like a movie trailer.
I have to.
No.
And just
I have to have my downtime. Sorry.
This is your downtime.
This is my
yeah,
downtime.
this is an easy week. I mean,
This is your life.
you signed the contract.
Listeners, you
joking.
can't see this, but Podrick is staring at me in a creepy way. So.
Pretty soon.
He's
my
also-
hand, your waist, your foot, my foot.
Okay.
1 minute.
Oh dear.
That'll get romantic then.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna have to call it off.
What time is it?
It's
is
about
5
5
with-
o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, 5
here,
with 3.
let's
Yeah.
get wrap this
I
up.
think
We're
that's
gonna have to-
time, ladies and gents.
Okay, so
Lady and gent.
lady, gent,
What did we learn?
just gent.
Not to sell overpriced Popeye's chicken. That one judge did have absolute
You can
power.
offer it if people buy it, then that's up to them. You know.
Oh, okay. There's a judge in where was that? Where did that take place? Like
Utah.
California, Utah. There's a judge in Utah with absolute power.
The Popeyes thing was California.
There's a judge in Utah with absolute power who doesn't yet know it. He'll realize it in some time to come. Karate should be mandatory for grades K through 12.
And everyone, kids, should know karate, and they should all have absolute power over everything. But first, karate.
Yes.
We need to prepare them for the absolute power over everything.
Oh yeah, totally.
Anyway, okay, so we're gonna have to call it off there, Steven. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See ya.
Don't forget to check your pulse.
Ah!